Commission, September 9th. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Does anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda? I added a couple things to it. I did the budget discussion because last time we were discussing about money and did we have it or didn't we have it, and I said, well, let's get a copy so we can actually see it instead of trying to look at it on our phone. And then the Parmalee Glow Golf event was something I wanted to discuss and get our approval or disapproval for. All right, so no additions that I have. Let's wait. We got to wait for Aaron because we can't approve it until we have a quorum. But we can get a motion and a second, I guess. Motion to approve agenda.
Unless he's got ads or anything to it, which I doubt.
That's true.
I'm good with it. I'll motion to approve it.
Wait and see.
Did you get an email or anything from Nancy?
You know, I haven't checked. I didn't the last time I looked, so I'm guessing probably not, but I'll check real quick here and see. She usually sends it to both.
There he is.
Oh, she did. Attachment report for September. Where is it?
There you go.
There it is.
Hey.
Okay, we did the pledge, and we want to know, do you have anything to add to the agenda?
No.
It's motion to approve then, and Carol seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
It's approved.
Approval of the minutes of the August 26th meeting. I will motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. We did per diem slips already. Secretary's report?
No,
Nothing? All right, treasurer's report. I had to cobble together the treasurer's report. Chris is not here today, so we had cell tower payment for $2,248.25, a donation to Car Park for $261, giving us a total of $2,509.25 for this last month. Expenses were Consumers Energy at Car, $101.93. Michigan Gas at Car for $40.66. Two Maids to Clean at Car for $1,210. And Samaria, Two Maids to Clean for $990, giving us total expenses of $2,342.59.
Is that in a month?
I'm curious if that's
The
2 months of invoices.
Two Maids to
1 month.
Clean was, yes, like 2 months worth for
It's
two of
which
the-
means that's right, because it's about,
Busy summer, I suppose.
it's been.
Summer bookings.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Okay.
Need a motion to approve?
Motion? Okay, you motion. I'll second.
That
All
works.
right. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, approved. Park Partners. So if you would like to step up and promote your Glow event.
Yeah, so for fall time for disc golf, it's pretty common to play glow golf, which is typically there's a light at least on the basket. I'd like to have lights on the tee pads too, and there's glow discs, so you get a UV flashlight and charge up your disc, and then it glows, and you know play. It's typically more of a social thing than a competitive thing, but it's common at Parmalee Park because the holes are shorter. Like even those old tee signs that we pulled out, the numbers on those were glow. Like that's how common it is there. Like it was set up for that. So presumably it's a thing that's going to happen. If I had to guess, there's going to be someone. If someone else doesn't do it, like I'm trying to do, someone is probably just going to put on the Facebook group and decide a night that everyone's going to go over there and play glow disc golf. So I'd like to make it a little more formal and actually ask permission and make it into an event where hopefully people can go to that and actually register and have event insurance and stuff like that, rather than it just be a random thing that people go over and do. So I'm looking for to get approval for a Friday or Saturday evening over at Parmalee that we can have an event that people know about where people can register to play, and we'd be using the PDGA. It's not a competitive sanctioning, but there is a, like, they call it X-tier sanctioning. It's basically just event insurance. So it's like $2 per person, covers property and liability and all that type of stuff. I can get you guys a copy. Actually, I think in that email I sent you,
Got the email up right now. Yep.
Okay.
there's a copy of everything that covers. We'd start around sundown. It'd be maybe a 2 hour, 2.5 by the time we get out of their event.
So you're thinking like 8 o'clock to 10?
Say like 7:30 is like sundown in October.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah,
7:30, 8 o'clock.
October. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Put that in there. My only fly in the ointment, I guess you could call it, would be because the parks close at dusk. This is an event outside of the regular park hours, and I think in that case that someone from the sheriff's department should be there to oversee what's happening in the park at night, which means you guys would have to cover the cost for 2 hours, say, or however long you think it's going to be, of a sheriff's deputy to be there. Now, they're not going to do anything except probably sit in the parking lot and make sure nobody, causes a ruckus or whatever, or get into a fist fight or
Gets
anything like
hurt.
that, or gets hurt, something
In
like
the
that.
woods and
Yeah, but that would be my suggestion to the park board, that we have, make sure that they pay to have somebody from the sheriff's department. Their ordinance department has already left for the day. They're not coming back. They don't get overtime. They're not going to do it. So to me, it would make sense to have someone from the sheriff's department there for any event that we have that's in the evening. Fireworks, the township pays to have deputies there when we do the fireworks at night, so there's already a little bit of a precedent for that. I can't tell you the amount, but I know you were saying you thought it was around $100 an
I
hour.
think Rich was paying $100 an hour for the deputy to be at his place.
So it would
So,
be comparable.
should we discuss this as C, since this is probably past his 2 minutes?
Yeah, we can
on the
discuss it
agenda.
at C, but I wanted to hear.
Right, I know. Oh, I guess this isn't even public comment. Well, I mean, are we...
I got 2 different bullet points up there, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we've got all you guys listed as our partners of the park.
Right, so I thought, come on.
Let's, I guess, discuss
Yeah.
further at C.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll keep my comments till then, hey.
let's think about
I
it
say
till
if you
then.
didn't see the email and want to just briefly, what?
How about, yeah, no, I know.
Anything else you
Golf,
wanna add?
Yeah, that's good.
Schlegel called me 2 weeks ago and almost put a pause on the sign, saying that it was, to my knowledge, confirmed 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago.
Right.
Are we still good to work on that? Is there an actual reason to not work on that? He was saying something about he wasn't sure about where the money was.
money for it. I think the township board would have to approve anything like that.
Okay, so is that something I should?
Which I don't.
I would
This is
not.
what we need to get into this.
I
Yeah,
would suggest ceasing proceeding.
Okay,
Wait till 9D when we get into our budget discussion, because that's apparently a whole new thing with the new year's. Like, I don't get, because it's under $1,500, like, why,
the difference?
what are we waiting on?
right.
Let's get it so it's in for this fall and before winter hits so they can dig the
Right.
holes and get it put in.
Right.
But I
But
think we just have no budget to do anything.
Well,
And thus,
but
all
maintenance-
things we want to do need to be done through the township board, which does have a budget.
So we approve it, and then it gets sent over to the township board, and they have to approve it.
Like we
They
recommend.
got to take it out of our maintenance fund because it's a maintenance thing, because it's going back, they're taking them down, we're putting new ones up. So I think that could
I think
fall
it
under
would.
maintenance.
it's not even maintenance. It's
No, it's just
a
out
new
of the township
sign.
fund of whatever they want to do. I mean, take it
Well,
out of
if
the
we
money
could
that came in
find
from the cell tower.
money
Take
here
it
to
out
do
of
it.
wherever you
We'll
want
get to that when we
Right.
get to the thing, but
But yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
We'll make sure it's.
so is that something that's happening this week? That's going to township board, or you're not even
No.
sure about that yet?
No.
it has to go from us, then it has to go to the township, and their next meeting is next week or 2 weeks? Next week.
We don't even have a process. We don't even have a process whereupon to deliver those types of items to the township board, and I don't know that that's going to get created in item D here.
Well, I think what should happen is you should present it at the township board. You're a liaison, and I guess that's the way it's going to have to go. If they need further explanation, they can say ahead of time that, oh, somebody from the park board better be there to explain it, but otherwise, I think it's going to fall on your shoulders,
I
Todd.
mean, it will, anything that comes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if one of you guys aren't there, it's not going to get approved. you guys that.
Okay.
Okay, 4 years ago, I can remember the previous board never had a problem. Our liaison would present things to the board. We never had to be there to back it up or to say why or to say anything else. So I don't understand why all of a sudden we have to be there now. Somebody has to be there to talk about it.
I don't either, but every time something is up there and one of you guys aren't there, because Rick always has questions, which I could understand before when he was running for supervisor. He would just talk so he could freaking hear himself talk. It's just ridiculous. But now that he's not running, dude, he still asks questions, and if someone's not there, they're going to table it.
I would think that in the township agenda, I guess we're just talking about everything right now, whatever. Right? So like in the township agenda, there would be an item or items of, hey, here's the things that the park board thinks would be nice. They think that there should be a Parmalee Park disc golf course, right? You'd put it in the agenda. Then if somebody on the township board thought that they agreed, they could say, I motion to pay for or, allow this to happen. And if nobody motions, nobody motions. And if there's motion and then discussion, and in that discussion, they would like further information through a park member or a provider, then that could be, we could be invited. It could be tabled to the next township meeting,
Right.
and then we could be invited where, at that time, if that becomes necessary, and if we don't show up to the invitation, then that probably
So
would.
this is where I'm so confused and why I was pissed last time and I did not show for the last meeting is this is under the $1,500 threshold. If that's the case, why are we sitting here meeting right now and having Mitch waste his time having us approve something for Todd? Why doesn't he just get it on the agenda for the township board and present it to them directly?
Correct, I agree, yeah.
We have questions.
It is now an official process that if it's under $1,500, no matter what the dollar amount, it has to get voted on and approved at the township board meeting?
Is that something that changed?
There's no money.
Yeah, because before we would say, hey, let's do this and go.
1,500, you're fine.
Right. So when did this change is my question.
When they changed the amount of money allocated to the parks.
Maintenance, yeah, we've got,
The township
This isn't
used
under
to
maintenance. This is a
allocate
new
But it should
sign
be
getting
under
put up that he's getting printed, just like the T signs, and they're volunteering their labor. We're paying for the post material and him printing the signs and designing and everything. That's not maintenance. This isn't something that's getting taken down and put up each spring and fall and something maintenance that's going into their process. This is a new sign getting installed to show an entire course map, which coincides with getting the T signs put up that we already did.
which I thought we voted on last
We did
time.
vote on this to approve.
Okay.
But we
He was
don't
moving
have-
forward with the design, and then Chris called him without communication to us and told him there's no budget for it, when literally we approved it after July 1st because we were waiting for the new year budget.
Well,
We have a whole New Year's budget, and we haven't spent a
Let's
dime.
discuss the budget. Let's find out where we got money in the budget to
So
approve
this
it, and
is-
then we'll go forward.
If you guys have money, it should get approved.
Right.
We don't have money.
Well,
Because
Since
no,
when don't we have, that's why
new
I'm,
budget that took effect.
Well,
they
here's the
removed
new
all the money.
budget. I printed
There it
it
is.
so we can see where it's available, but we'll get to that when we get to D.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
thanks, Mitch.
Sorry to get off on a tangent there. Okay, community ed. I do have some information here from community ed, if I can find it. And can I read it? That's the other thing. This is from Nancy Crandall. She said, the fall season is upon us. We have over 270 students in the fall soccer season with 28 teams taking to the fields next week. We are looking at replacing nets where needed and have moved the older team to the old varsity soccer field. It's always difficult to find coaches to lead the kids. We hope to reinitiate a discount, as we did prior to COVID, that is applied to future programs. Cross-country, golf, pickleball, along with a host of other art computer programs are also coming up in the coming weeks. We have a new partnership with Bay Creek Farms offering a resiliency program for students and are working out several other partnership opportunities with local organizations to broaden our scope to reach more families. We have several ideas on various programs but are searching for the right people to lead them and will bring those forward possibly in the winter months. We also reached out to Bedford Senior Center to work together on several programs that would be mutually beneficial. More to come on that later. Oh, and I just lost it. Come back. Our outreach to the community through Valpak has helped garner some new faces, but it is our intention to do us mailer at least once a year to the entire community. The cost to produce, print, and mail as we used to is too cost prohibitive. We will continue to look for viable means to get the word out and keep interest and growth in our programs. We welcome any and all suggestions from this board as well as the community as we move forward. As always, thank you for your continued support and assistance. Nancy Crandall. All right, that's all I have there. I haven't heard from any of the other partners on anything. Anybody else heard? No? Okay, so that's that. Comments from the public? Nobody here to make comments. Unfinished business. I know nothing about the drinking fountains. I called today and spoke with Pat. As far as I know, they're still working on that. They haven't got a company yet, a plumbing company to do that. The fence repair at White Park, I believe, is finished.
It should be.
You know, they were working on it, so that should be done and off
Jazz was
there.
running that, but it was already on their schedule and should be done at this point.
Right, and they were supposed to start it even before last meeting, so I'm assuming that's done. Okay, Glow Golf approval and discussion. So, like I said, my suggestion was to pay for a deputy to be there that night, since it is at night for a couple hours. Other than that, I don't see a problem with
Here,
it.
go back to the thing, yeah.
I would say,
Yeah, you're going to want to say
Well,
something.
do you have a date yet?
No,
You haven't said it.
I'm waiting to
Do you
make sure
think
it's.
I would qualify as the liaison? I mean, am I official enough? If I was going to be there and I could.
But you couldn't arrest anybody if something breaks out. That's
Oh no, but I mean,
my thing.
board liaison, neither could a ordinance person either. Like it's
Right. That's
like,
why I'm
if
saying,
I guess like who?
because we
tells-
don't have a procedure in place, okay, for after hours. The only thing we ever do after hours is the fireworks. You know, other than,
But who? So who? We create these rules. There
I would
are
say,
rules to
yeah,
create, even
yeah.
though we have no budget. I mean, as
I would-
the elected board, we at least have
Yeah.
authority over these properties.
which is
and
pretty
we-
much approving them to be there after
Right,
dusk for a
right.
2-hour glow disc golf
Right.
event.
So I would think then.
and you do have the liability. You said you had insurance
So
for
the insurance
liability, so that's
covers
not a problem.
Staff, any volunteers, registered players, spectators, vendors, or other parties not previously mentioned. General liability coverage maintained by PDGA can include medical costs for injuries, property damage sustained on tournament grounds during sanctioned play, activities that directly support sanctioned play. This can include player meetings, award ceremonies, or other activities required to properly run the competition. So the insurance aspect
So
of it would be
pretty much,
covered.
yeah.
I guess in terms of like the lighting and all that scenario, you're planning to organize and set
Yep.
up. It's nothing on our end.
Yep.
So it's literally mainly, are we okay with either a Friday or Saturday night, some weekend night in October, like you said, 7:30, 8 o'clock start time till call it 10 p.m., allowing them in. So if the police, and we can, even if they don't hire, if we do require a sheriff hired, we would obviously notify the department, let them know, hey, this event's going on post dusk at this park. Like, they are allowed out there because, like he said, I've seen it out there, whether it's organized properly like this in a function or not, it's gonna happen.
People do it.
People are there after dusk playing glow golf. It's a common
And
thing.
it could be, it could go really well, and it could be 60 people. It could be half that. So at some point, it's not just.
My only piece would be if you're looking at doing any type of vending, like we've discussed, like a food truck or anything, that they would need proper licensing insurance provided to us, so we have that on file with permitting. If you're even looking at doing that, if it's simply organizing the gathering for I motion to approve this event. We can look into the cost of sheriff with you and leave it at that, or at least notify so they're aware once you have a date in mind, and we can make that official the next meeting. But I motion to approve moving forward with organizing this type of event and having some fun event at the park. Now that there are new signs out there.
I think the motion needs to say, because motion to allow the relaxation of dawn to dusk rules at
This event at Parmalee.
We could either do it this event, or we could make a more generalized thing too for, like, I motion to allow the relaxation of dawn to dusk rules at Bedford Parks in the event that it is, that an organization addresses the board at a board meeting and a township employee is on site for said event. And we are township employees, so I or one of us could be there, or a sheriff is also a township employee, theoretically.
But we are set, that kind of a thing is like for the next board, and are they going to be okay with it? So I'm thinking we don't, probably don't want to.
How about we just stick to this event?
Yeah, I think for now, let's stick to this event and let them, go ahead and decide on a.
And any further future events need to be presented and can be
Right,
discussed.
just like he's doing, they need to come to us. I mean, that's the way it is for any type of event, daytime
Doing
or
something
not.
like that's just opening the door for people.
fine.
Well, it's a relaxed event or relaxed rules. Like, I don't think we need any of that lingo. I make a motion
Made the
to
motion.
approve Mitch to move forward with planning, developing a date, and looking into, and we'll figure out what the cost of sheriff coverage is for a 2-hour window from dusk for a 2-hour period for a glow disc event at Parmalee Disc Golf Course.
And it probably depends on the day, what the cost is.
Yeah, he's got it. I think it's, I don't know that there's, until there's a day, what are we motioning for, Until you give us an exact day, it's like, are we, what are we
We're motioning to, is he going to spend his time moving forward with trying to organize
right.
an
If I have
event?
20
Or is
people
he-
that sign up, probably not getting a sheriff just because it's
Right.
Everyone's
think there's
gonna
a lot of
split the
variables.
cost. Maybe that's not going to.
Yeah, I don't think the sheriff needs to be
Neither do
part of
I.
the motion.
That's why I said we'd look into cost and what the date
Right,
is.
just to
what,
let him know.
But yes, I'm motioning to approve this so he's not wasting his time moving forward, and then he comes with us with a date, and we say, no, we don't want this. So I'm making a motion to.
You've made the motion. You've made the motion. So now we need to vote on it. So
Is there
do I have a
no-
second? Do I have a second? Let's
I
go
don't-
that
What
way.
is, okay, what are the words of the motion?
Say it again.
Motion to approve, if you want, like, official Black Swamp Discs to move forward with the planning of a date
For the glow.
for a glow disc golf event held at Parmalee Park from dusk, 7:30, 8 o'clock, for a 2-hour window. Call it 10 p.m.
And then when he picks the date, we'll probably have to motion again.
Or he's
for
got to
the
notify us what the date is, and we'll bring it, I'll
Right.
put it up in here.
I'm looking
again.
to get approval to host the event because
Right.
the way you worded it is not useful to me because then I could potentially be wasting my time still.
Right.
Yeah. I'm looking
Do you have a date you think you want?
Friday or Saturday
Saturday.
evening in October. I didn't specify one because I
We
wanted
don't
to make
have
sure
any
there was no
specific event held at
stipulations.
Parmalee on a Friday or Saturday evening that it's going to interfere with, so I'm fine with leaving it open to any of them.
It's more the relaxation of the rules for a set period. I motion to relax dawn to dusk rules at Parmalee Park
For
from
this
X
event.
to
For this
Y.
event.
for this event.
For this event.
Correct. Fine.
Only for this event,
Label that as the motion.
'cause
Whenever this event occurs.
Right. Yes.
For a,
Obviously,
okay.
notify
For
us
a
of
Friday
this
or Saturday in
official
October.
date
I mean,
once
just-
it's organized, and
You can just say for.
And the meat of the motion is the relaxation of dawn to dusk rules.
Yes.
much.
And
allow
mentioning a
this
sheriff or township employee or anything, whatever.
We don't have to mention that at this
I
point.
agree. Okay.
That was a suggestion
So-
on my
so
part to cover our butt, but he's got the liability insurance, which I think will handle most anything,
yep, it does.
other than somebody shooting somebody in the park.
Okay, so Andrew motions to allow the relaxation of dawn to dusk rules at Parmalee Park for a
Single
evening,
Friday
for
or
a single Friday or Saturday evening in October
Specific
to the
to
authorization
disc golf event.
of Black Ops Disc and a
Black
solo
Swamp
event.
Disc, yeah.
Right, okay, all right.
Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I mean, I'll fill in the last sentence, yes.
So I'll second.
Yes,
All
aye.
in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay.
There you go.
Make it happen.
Thank you guys.
You're
you, Mitch.
welcome. All right, budget discussion. So I had Bob print out the thing, and I can barely read it. It is so light, but anyway. Chris had made the comment before our meeting last time that we don't have a budget anymore. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. I know we have things in the budget, other things that we can move money around if we need to. So, looking at it, we got a certain amount for janitorial things. We've got things for community days. There's a couple $100 in there. I thought we didn't use it last year, but they gave it $400 for that. Community ed, we got $25,000.
So
That's all still in there?
That's still in there. That's still in there.
well, this is for the 24-25 budget.
Right. Yep, still in there.
So
Well, it's actually like 25 budget because we paid the 24.
Right.
Yeah, so,
It'll happen
Yeah,
in
it'll happen.
January or.
yeah.
This is where
So
every
there's
time these are
utilities.
presented, this is so
Utilities,
irrelevant.
254, there's hardly anything in there. Maintenance, roof repair at car was taken care of. Maintenance general, they left $1,000 in there for us. That was very nice of them. That might pay for one spraying at Ansted for invasive species. That would be it. Equipment rentals, they put money in there for equipment rentals for us. $244. What the heck do we rent for $244?
Again, this is
Conferences and
why this is-
workshops, $500. So the only thing I can see is if we move money,
What happened to the 50% we had set aside, the 20 extra, like, capital outlay list? Like, that's what I'm asking, and never get
that's not
answers
here.
to.
That's not here.
That's the difference. There's 52,000 missing.
But we have listed as part of our park budget of, from what I'm seeing, 24 and 25 was 253,000. We're paying buildings and grounds, employee wages for full-time and seasonal of $44,300 and 47. That's not even through parks.
Right.
They're just listing it in here to be part. So really, take out another $91,000 of 253, and that's how much they're giving us. Because we've never covered that. That's through township, through maintenance. We don't operate maintenance. They have never provided us an hourly track record of how much time they're spending in the parks versus the library versus township hall or anything.
Nope, they're just
Where are they
guessing.
coming up with this number?
They're just guessing.
So again, when we've approved something under $1,500, I don't care where the heck they want to pull it from. The money's there. We've never spent this budget.
Right.
So,
I say it should come under maintenance. Maintenance should pay
Sure.
for it. They took the money, so it should come out of maintenance.
sure. I don't care if they pull it from the general fund of the township
We
that
do
we've
have
been,
other
that we've been
funds.
just
That's what
pushing
I've
money
been
into.
saying. You know, where there are other funds. It's not like, I mean, yes, they took most of our stuff and threw it in maintenance and gave
This
it to
still
maintenance.
answers zero questions of
For
if
what
it's
you
under
have, yes.
$1,500. Why is it going to? Why are we going to have Todd present an item that we've approved under $1,500 for them to debate upon and see if they will vote on when they have no vote or say on it? We've approved it. We're telling Mitch with them to move forward on the design of this
Right.
golf course layout,
Right.
4x8 sign, which will now coincide with the T signs that we've already done. That was like 1,100.
Which column does it go in? That's the question that they'll deny.
They're going to ask, yeah, they're going to ask, what column do you
That's the
come-
deal.
And then it goes under buildings and grounds employee wages full time.
Well, they'll,
Like, I don't care.
but
Just
well,
and
no,
guess what?
They
because
need to move it around. They need to
Oh,
give us money back for it.
so the guy who signs the checks
Is going to ask the
refuses
question.
to do so.
Yep.
And will say you don't have a category forthwith to spend.
What happened to the
Money on
capital outlay and the
projects.
multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars that we set aside for improvements and
I don't
new
know.
items?
But I mean, it sounds
This
like
is
we
a
don't have
new
it
item. It's not
It should
replacing. It's
still
not
be
maintenance.
there.
It's not.
It should still be there for us.
Where did all that money
not-
go?
it's
Because we
not
didn't spend
listed.
money on anything.
It's not listed, other than the roof. That was
The roof,
car park
which
roof.
was-
That was it. That was approved
Actually,
last.
under another category of
Right.
like building maintenance.
And we had that, yeah. They took that away from us. That's why I'm saying it should be under maintenance. Everything they took away and stuck under maintenance, anything that we need done is going to have to come out of maintenance because we don't have a separate category anymore for it.
I don't care
Thus-
what line item you
Right.
want to take it out of.
Right. But that's what.
That's not my concern.
that's what
However, he
Chris,
wants to.
The treasurer is going to.
Where's maintenance?
Bob is going to.
Where is maintenance on here? I mean, maintenance.
We don't have it.
We don't
Maintenance
have it.
took it, and that's what we're paying them up there at the top. The two things.
We're
that you
making.
mentioned.
No, I mean, I see maintenance general $1,000.
We are making monthly $2,248.25 from a cell phone tower that is up at Car Park.
Yep.
We want like $1,415, I think it was, to do this T sign. Found it. There's the look at that revenue. We have an expenditure that takes from that revenue. Done. Then it doesn't have to go through a township budget
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Well, that's
That is
part of their
not
budget,
theirs.
'cause
That is
all
a
this,
Car Park item.
all this goes into the general fund. That's the thing. We don't.
And it
have-
comes out of the general fund.
Although it lists in here what we make, part of our revenue,
Then it comes out of general fund.
but they want a category in the general fund. Where is it listed for us in the category? And that's what I'm saying. It's got to come out of the maintenance.
Then make
That's
up
the
for it.
only
Yeah, fine.
big That's the only big chunk we have.
There's nothing allocated.
There used to be 8,000 of these things.
Yeah.
Just because he cleaned it up and doesn't have an item, make 101-751-957, make it 958.0000, and make it ground improvement and put this check for this sign under that. Sure.
I think they refuse to do so. I think they're trying to squeeze us
They are very
for the
trying to eliminate.
initiative of the elimination of the park board, and this is
And
how
if
it's done.
that's the case, then why are we sitting here meeting, and why are we having Mitch?
Because
waste
the
his time
voters
deciding
would
times?
have to disband the park board.
That's the only the park commission. It's park commission, not park board. Boards
Well,
are
whatever, right,
boards are
park commission.
Are appointed.
Yeah, I get it,
That's what they're trying to do. They want to get rid of us because we have been elected, duly elected official. They want to get rid of us and just appoint people to a board that will say yes. Do what you want.
Which is why the last meeting I was like, okay, we're not in a position to fight back, so
No,
we're
we're not.
basically the Parks Advisory Board, and everything goes through Todd now, and the entire responsibility of the parks is on Todd.
not
And
on me.
We're the advisory board, and we tell you what's going on, and you bring it to the township.
Why don't-
And the township does it or they don't do it.
When do you guys call Bob tomorrow and say what fund could this
You're our
come out of?
liaison.
Dude, I'm the liaison.
Right, and this board no longer has a budget, and so if we want to do something, we tell our liaison to tell the rest of the township board at the times that the township board.
Township board.
And then when you guys don't show up, it's going to get denied.
No, that's fine, but I mean, if
But
that happens a
get
bunch
over
of
to
times in
the
a row.
next meeting, then they can invite us, as was suggested. They can invite us to come to the following meeting and explain it.
If we as the park commission find that all of our suggestions made to you at our meetings are going nowhere, and it appears that our presence would help support that, I'm sure we'll figure out how to attend. It doesn't really seem to me that with our meetings recorded, with our ability to write a statement upon request, or even show up upon request if it is requested, that we could obviously show up, answer questions at the podium if that's requested of us. But I don't. It seems like if we want to do anything, we discuss it. We discussed that, yes, we'd like to tell Todd about it, and we'd like Todd to tell the rest of the township board that it would be a good thing for the parks to do. And then he tells them, and they motion or they
The
don't
rules
motion
that
to
are
do the
written
things
in
we think
place
about.
Are just, it doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? What?
Well, like
The
the
1,500 to 20,000 that we initially had issues with, and they adamantly said, this is how you have to follow it and what? Well, guess what? We're under 1,500. We're following it.
We had a pool to work with. There was a pool of money that was in a column that we had the ability to make decisions upon because there was a column for it with an available budget.
And I think Bob
thing
needs
is
to
park.
put in some
No,
more.
I agree with that, but unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, whatever you call it, but there's line items. If we are to initiate anything, it needs to fall into a line item. There's no miscellaneous line item. There's no ability to recognize that we've spent less than allocated and that money then rolls into a miscellaneous column. Anything we don't spend rolls back into the general fund and is not to the benefit of the parks. It's just back to the benefit of the township. So
You take it out of the fireworks fund, and then the township will have to take over funding the fireworks.
yeah. I mean, on community ed too. I mean, why is community ed a park partner? They don't do
Well,
anything in
because
the
I
parks,
think-
and why are we
I think
using?
the next board should decide that.
Yeah, I mean-
and that's why I said leave it in there, then they can decide yay or nay.
Well, because it's already been given to them, right? That's not something that we need to decide upon soon.
No.
So,
They usually ask in December for,
right. So
so that'll be the next board.
it's all the township's money. The taxpayers have paid it to the township. The township has it. We did not approve a millage. We don't have any money of our own. And thus, it all goes through the township. And so anything we think is good for the parks that costs money, the township's got to ultimately approve it. And I think it just makes a lot more work for you. And yeah, I mean, us, if we attend the meetings or we don't attend the meetings, and if things get approved or they don't get approved based on our attendance and the township board's
Well, then I'm just
desire for
honestly,
our attendance.
Moving forward for the rest of our meetings, then you will not see me here on Mondays. I will just go to every Tuesday one. You can still pay the normal check, whatever you want for this board. That we are wasting our time. I'm not
right.
going to show up to this. I'll just show up at that one, and every single thing that I think is good for the parks, then I'll just present to them. Just the way Mitch should not bother coming here and even going through us. He should just
Sure.
go to the township board.
Although you'll have to inform our liaison that you'd like
I'll
whatever
see him
item.
5 minutes before the meeting starts, and hey,
you wanna get your-
tell him that, hey, put this on there.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get your items on their agenda.
Right. Why doesn't, I don't
It has
give
to be a
crap if
week
it's
in
on our
advance.
agenda.
It has to be a week in advance.
Like anything we
Right.
want has to go to them tomorrow. You have to tell them tomorrow, so it's a week in advance before their next meeting.
Right. Well,
You're
They
prob-
can't add
you're
things.
probably
I mean,
right.
I don't really
Like
care
we do.
what
You
you
can't
want or
add
what you
things
want.
on
I
the
will just
agenda.
email Todd things I want because what we say here and decide upon doesn't matter.
Agreed. I think you're
Do
right.
I'm just going to
you,
email Todd whatever I want
do you
and
want,
then be there on Tuesdays to
Probably,
discuss it.
you're probably right.
you want the $1,500 on the agenda then?
We want the
for his signs?
approval of the course map sign for Parmalee on the agenda.
Okay.
It's apparently costing $1,415. We don't have a say in that, even though we approved it 2 of our meetings ago, now 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, but then
And Mitch is wondering if they should continue moving forward with the design and the layout because it's going to cost him time and money and getting it printed and created.
well, and it just
Or-
seems like because it was August 31st and that's the year-end date of the budget, that it was just in a time frame that was not conducive, and the budget
June
changed
30th
over.
is the-
June 30th was.
and we did this after the 4th of July, the meeting after the 4th of July.
Well, then
That's why we waited till the new
Waited
year,
till
because
the
we
new-
did the T signs on last year's budget. We were doing the full course map sign, which is roughly about the same cost as those 18 T signs on this year's. And future board can look at, like Mitch has discussed with us all the time, like potential replacement of poles and T boxes and concrete pads and just,
Okay,
upkeep
okay.
of a course.
it sounds like Chris was being prudent then in letting everyone know
Letting
that.
everyone know he did not do. He contacted Mitch and just said, "Hey, don't do this. We don't," and then never said a
never
word to us.
told us.
And I didn't know
Told
until
us at the
Mitch.
last meeting.
Yeah,
you
I'm
come up
telling
at
you,
the-
Mitch
But you weren't
contacted
here.
me
Yeah. Mitch,
well
you
before that
left,
meeting.
yeah.
Sure, but I mean, if
And
we
I
thought
said,
we had
well,
a-
Chris, who wasn't a part of any of this other than voting yes and had no idea, didn't want to relay that information to me.
Sure. I'm just saying, if we had a vendor we thought was going to not get paid, and that the
This guy ran
township's
for-
treasurer was not going to sign their check after they performed the service, that is obviously something we want to avoid, and he avoided that in whatever way he thought best, I guess. Which, whatever. But that's what was happening, and now, anything that we want to spend money on, we tell
Like
him,
I
and
said,
he puts
then
it on their agenda, and they
Will not see
But-
me on Monday
but-
night.
I don't care. I don't care where you go. I'm
We only
not
have-
showing up here.
We have 4 more meetings. The last one is on November 11th, which is Veterans Day. It's a holiday. So, and the reason we are still here in November, because the newly elected board will not be sworn in or served until the 21st, is what they told me. So we still have to be here for the November 11th unless we vote tonight to say, let's not do that meeting because it's a holiday. And then they can just save the bills and the new board can take over with those bills for November.
whoever's where and whatever you attend or don't attend or whatever, it just
Well,
the
we-
process of if we would like to do something for the parks, right? I think a course map in Parmalee is a perfect example. So let's continue utilizing this example because it will
Sure.
lead us into reality, right? So like if there's something that comes up we think is good and whatever, in a meeting or privately or wherever we think so, it's got to go to the liaison. The liaison's
Right.
Gotta
I'm not
put
even
it
gonna
on the
bother with
township
wasting
budget.
it on our time here, putting it on the agenda. I'm
Maybe-
gonna email it right to Todd to take to the township.
Right,
And then I'll
but
go up that
do we
Tuesday. and
have
get
to
it
agree
approved.
on it. We have to agree on
Why-
it first.
Why?
Do we?
Why do we
Well, if
have
it's under
to?
1,500, probably not. But
Why
if
do
it's
we
more
have
than
to
that,
agree on it?
Because we're the parks. We've been duly elected. That is in our.
If I were a citizen,
That's
I
what
would
we
not
do.
waste a second of my time in front of us as we
I
can see,
understand what you're
because
saying, but
we have no relevance.
we-
I'd recommend, Todd, that you guys on the township board
If you want
make
something for the
some
parks,
type
take it to
of
Todd and go to the township.
motion whereupon, like giving us instruction whereupon to bring you things. Otherwise, you are going to get inundated with
Well,
craziness.
The problem is, you guys went and pissed off Bob. That is what the
Great.
problem
I mean,
is.
whoever's pissed off or whatever's happening,
You
like
guys
we're all.
know who did it and where it came from and everything else.
Yeah,
So
and he's not even on the board anymore apparently
he's
because he
not
hasn't
gonna
been here in
help
months.
you
So who
guys.
cares?
So-
There's no helping us or you or anyone. There's helping taxpayers and citizens of Bedford
Right.
who have parks. So like, I don't care. I just want to know the process, right? And I think it would be probably beneficial to the township.
It seems like they change the process all the time.
they do.
Well, right,
saying.
and we're recreating a new one now, and that's good. So, yes, I do think Andrew on his own could stop attending, contact you directly as the liaison of
Go
the
to the
park,
township meeting.
put things on the agenda.
If we don't
That
get
might get a
one,
little crazy for
because
you
you're not
guys
here.
because you might have rogue
Then
liaisons.
they're not going to pay bills? No, they're going to figure it out themselves.
Yeah.
If
Why are we wasting our time?
Well,
if the township
Fine.
board doesn't
they'll say
want,
it's got to be done, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, then they can go back to it's got to be this process.
Right,
But when
right.
it's this, it doesn't have to be that process. It's a whole new thing now.
right,
That's what I'm making it a point.
I understand.
And I will not be bringing another single thing to put onto this agenda.
I agree.
I'm not wasting my time. I'll just email Todd and ask him to put it on the township agenda.
May all change when Al takes over too. He may want something done different.
Until then, I think Andrew's kind of right, and thus that's a little crazy, but that's what
Being
it
that this
is.
is a public meeting, the community should know. Don't waste your time bringing us anything. Just
Yeah.
get it on the agenda for the township meeting if you want anything done at parks, because we have absolutely no say.
Good. I think that's where we're at. I would say maybe a way the township could help make that easier on themselves is to subsequently make a motion that you want to see a park commission motion and vote for the delivery of ideas prior to the receipt of ideas or projects or expenditures. Let's call them expenditures rather than ideas, right? Like, as of right now,
it's
there is no process, there is no thing, right? So any park liaison in any way, either at the meeting or however, seemingly can go to the liaison or go to Angie or go to, what's her name, the clerk, the other one, Trudy, sorry, and however they, get things on the agenda based on however things get on the agenda. I mean, you guys creating rules whereupon we can deliver things to your agenda might be recommended. Otherwise, yeah, he's going to send you emails, and Chaz is going to send you emails, and I don't know if I'll bring much, but I mean,
Can send it right to Trudy. I just have to okay it. So that's what I've been doing. Like, I'll tell Trudy, hey, Chris is going to stop by. This needs to be on the agenda, and that's all they need.
and that may be
They
cool.
need like an email that says this should be on the
Like I said,
agenda.
I'll
Yeah,
email
an
Todd
email
next
or-
week.
You know, they're going to say, what meeting did we decide that at?
No,
because
they're
if you
not,
send
because our
something
decision here doesn't matter. We've already approved it, but they want us to show up and do the whole thing over again. I'm
Presentation.
skipping the waste of this point and just doing it there.
Well, in answer to Carol's question, I would say it's incumbent upon the township to motion to create that rule, whereupon
It's on them.
Right. I mean, that's why right now it is just a free-for-all. Do whatever you want, think of what you want, put it on the
in
agenda
writing.
and see what happens, right? But if
in
they
writing.
come back to us
Let's-
and say,
let's
hey,
in
the
writing.
township has created a rule whereupon you must proceed like this to get expenditures spent, then that's the new rule, and that's how we proceed, and that's how the park commission proceeds, right? The same way that the township created the $1,500 rule. Why was it $1,500 and not $2,500 or $3,500 or $5,000 or whatever? The township, in one of their meetings, must have made a motion to make that the limit for expenditures, and then that subsequently became the rule that we lived by for however many
did.
years. Right.
Until
So now that
today.
there's no where to go, the township should probably motion to create us a new standard which they like for communicating with us. Otherwise, it might get a little crazy for Todd because, yeah, you're going to start emailing him, and who,
I don't have that many
who
ideas.
knows what else, right? But I
I
mean,
don't
in
even
general,
see my
number
email.
one.
in general, like Todd is now open to a can of worms of liaisons coming at him from everywhere for
I'm not
whatever.
even saying liaisons. I'm like saying like Mitch presenting to us and
Anybody, yeah.
Mitch, email Todd to have it put on.
I mean,
the
the
township
entire-
agenda so you can discuss it there because they're the ones obviously making the final say.
I feel like a lot of it's on you, Todd, in the sense that like our budget was taken away. You're our liaison. All the money's now with the township, and that's if a sign at Parmalee needs to be made or a fence that isn't in the
And
budget
you can
needs
make this
to be
whole
painted
discussion
or whatever.
an item agenda for the township board to discuss.
Yeah.
And tell them you're confused as hell because we're bombarding you with stuff that you don't know, we don't know, and nobody's answering our questions.
We need,
What's our process here?
yes, we need a process.
Rules for
Tell them
park
to-
board and
Tell them to tell us how
expenditure.
to do this kind of thing because
Yeah, I mean, because I agree. Yeah, I think we probably should be
Took the
like
money
in a
away.
meeting. We've made a motion that we want to send this up there. Like, hey, it's not just Andrew who thinks it's a good
Right,
idea to have a
right.
sign. The park board all agrees through a motion process that they think it's a good idea to have a sign, and thus it can go to the township. But right now, that doesn't exist.
already
The township
did.
hasn't.
Which
given
we
us-
already did.
we already did it, but it didn't get
Okay, we'll take it.
Tear down.
Right, I know. what
Pretend
you're-
it's not
a
the
new
sign
item.
then.
Yeah,
Take
a
it
new item.
a new item, right? So like if a new item came up, how do they accept or not accept the deliverance of that item from us? And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
And since we don't have a budget and none of it's our control, why are we concerned with, or Chris telling people no after we've done approvals and that? Why are we concerned with where this is coming from? I don't give a crap. Have Bob figure it out.
Right.
He's the one that's like making things just
Right, Chris should not have
non-existent
said.
and in this is his own world. He'll figure out where it comes from. I don't care.
well, but he doesn't take instruction from us, and our votes are not bearing upon him. Whereas he takes instruction from the township
Right.
board, and their votes are bearing upon him. Right? Am I
And so they could
correct
say,
in that vis-a-vis Bob? So like,
it's $1,500, the park board doesn't have a spot for it. Can we get Bob to create a line item for the $1,500 for the Parmalee signs, And if the township says yes, great, we're in great shape. If they say no, well then we'll take the money from some other part. We'll have
and
to.
as you've expressed, there's like 3-point-something million of,
Yeah.
so like, there is money theoretically
money.
that the township has
They have money.
that is available if they decide something's a
we
priority.
want-
So, I mean, we just got to,
1425 was what we had approved.
Okay, there you
The
go.
layout, design, printing, and materials to install, and they're volunteering their labor to install it.
it looks like all we have is $1,000 because all these light items are super specific, and Bob will not agree for anything we want to do to go to any of them except for this $1,000.
I didn't know Bob made our budget. I thought the township board decided upon what we get.
Well, he's the employee of the townships hired by the board to do that,
All right, so
right? I mean, that's, and if they don't like him, they'll find a different one that they like. But
we don't have any
it is from the township board. It's from him.
We don't have any paper. We don't have any.
You don't have an
anything that-
invoice quote?
We don't
or
have an
anything?
invoice, right?
You're just saying it's 14.
No, this was 1425 was
Right.
approved for him to move forward. He's not going to waste his time designing it and getting it
So
printed.
you've got that email.
Right here.
Why don't you forward that email to Trudy? Ask her to put this item on their next meeting. You will let Trudy know it's coming, kind of thing, and then, we'll just go from there.
And I'm going to call Bob
That's
tomorrow.
got some paper that's got some specifics on it, so she can say, oh, okay, we're not making numbers up out of our, because that's
I don't think this is, I mean, it's more government process and more people doing
It is.
things, which, I mean, that's,
It is.
sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. I don't know. I mean, whatever. The money's there for the citizens of Bedford to enjoy their parks, and whether it's expended through this voting process or the township's voting process, I don't know, caring people who care about the parks and try to recommend proper expenditures is
Trudy has it.
all that matters. So,
Okay, thank you, appreciate
I
that.
don't know.
All right, so let's drop that. We can discuss the budget more at the next meeting if we care to. My point with the meetings was we only have 4 more meetings. I think we should vote to not come on November, what was it, 11th I said? Or 9th, whatever it is, Veterans Day. So we'd only have 3 more meetings then. We'll have the one this month and the 2 in October. Was it the 11th, November 11th, I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Veterans Day. So I make a motion that we not meet on Veterans Day, November 11th, and the new board will take over on that next meeting date. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. All right, so I only have 3 more meetings. And if you could see clear to be here for those 3 meetings, I would
Don't
love
count
it
on it.
because it's probably going to happen that Aaron and I are going to show up and nobody else will be here and there we're going to
That
be.
stinks.
well,
I guess the
you know.
township's going to have to figure out how to
Chris
pay
is
the
out of
bills.
town this week and he's working on a big project and who knows what project he'll be working on the next couple of
Yeah, but
years.
he's, you know.
I mean, that's
They seem handcuffed if we can't be here to tell them, yay, this is it.
right.
But
Right.
they definitely aren't handcuffed if we make decisions on anything else. So I like, why are we sitting here?
Okay, Anstead Park. I got an email today, well, I didn't get an email, I got a paper from Angie saying that the DNR Eagle Invasive Species Grant Program is available. And I would like to follow up on this, hopefully get a grant because we don't seem to have money to do anything with the invasive species anymore. That line item was removed.
Invasive, like the Tree,
Tree of Heaven and the Phragmites over at Anstead and the, all that
I
kind
didn't know
of
if it was
stuff.
plant related, insect
Yeah,
related, or anything.
Plant related so far, other than the Tree of Heaven is also insect related because of the lanternfly. So,
I'll say that's the new
yeah.
one.
So they do both aquatic and
Okay.
terrestrial species. So I'm going to follow up on this tomorrow morning. There's a meeting if you guys want to go into MISGP, Michigan.
This is the Eagle
Basis.
program?
EGLE.
Oh, so it's not about
Yeah.
eagles.
That's what
I was like thinking it was
looked
eagle.
over because that's what I heard.
Michigan invasive species.
Yeah, right. It's like
That's
It's
what I
called
thought.
Eagle, environmental
bald
Great
eagle
Lakes.
nests in the park. Okay, I mean, all right. So say it again. EGLE,
LE.
which is what environmental.
Environmental Great Lakes
Okay.
Initiative, whatever.
Okay,
I don't know. Environment.
In my notes, we're gonna say eagles.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the first thing I thought. That's
Yeah,
why I
our
looked
eagle.
over at her sheet. I thought eagles were good.
So anyway, there's a presentation at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm going to get on it and see what I can find out, and then see if we can go forward and how much trouble it's going to be. And does Al want to help? Does anybody else want to help? Is there a grant committee anymore? Are they doing anything? Can they help us? To get
Yeah,
this
do
done?
they still exist?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Is there a grant committee, Todd? No, they
I haven't
disbanded.
seen Any grants come?
Come through. So
Maybe they just
yeah,
disbanded, I guess. No?
I don't know. Find out.
They're not doing anything.
All right, Cars Grove. I do have something that came through on my email here just lately. If I can find it. Oh, wait a minute. I made a photo because it doesn't come through. There it is. Okay, so stop it. Hang on a second. This is from Pat Thatcher. Al said they received the parts for the playscape for Car Park on the 30th, and they have replaced the step pods on the 3rd, the spring rider on the 5th, and standing seesaw was repaired on the 9th.
Nice.
Stopped at Mazareth on 9/9, and the stone should be delivered on Wednesday, the 11th. We're talking
Wednesday.
this
Great.
Wednesday, yep. And then they will be starting on the parking lots this week. So by the time his
okay.
park thing comes,
Did they decide on they're doing the car south lot and Parmalee?
It's not
It just-
not mentioned, but they said parking lots.
I know those are the ones we were
Those
talking
were the
about
ones we
doing,
talked about, so I'm hoping that's what the ones they were talking about. We'll find out. Okay, anything else for Cars Grove? Okay. Parmalee, anything else?
Oh, it's
Parmalee?
still not graded, but I guess that's coming, right?
coming.
Coming.
Sorely
It's
needed.
coming,
If they skip
yes.
Parmalee, then
Stone should be there this Wednesday.
yeah, I mean,
so-
like Parmalee's the number one that needs done. I think.
Oh yeah.
It's really bad. So okay.
We just threw car south lot in there because that's literally in an hour. They could have it stone dropped and graded
Right.
done, and it needs it. Not
yeah.
really as bad, but
So yeah, still not great.
coming.
Everything else is good. Oh wait, I did have one thing.
Go ahead.
As I, haphazardly think about, I guess, the old skate park whenever I have ideas in my head. What about like inline hockey or like making it like a roller or street hockey rink, and then maybe even in the winter, it could be like a ice skating little spot. You could have a little ice skating rink there,
around it.
a little outdoor ice skating thing. I wonder if that would then put a ton of extra work on maintenance, because they theoretically would have to maintain an ice skating rink, and
Has it
I don't
been
know.
cold enough, long enough to make it worth our effort the past couple of winters?
I don't know. But I mean, it's a space that like theoretically we could throw some wood up, in a boards, the way the hockey boards type thing, and kids could play roller hockey there, or kids or adults, community members could play roller hockey there. And then in the winter, it could
Right.
also then be transitioned to an ice thing. And to the extent that maintenance did take care of the skate park, and that was insane and tons of work on them, it's never going to get that bad again, even if it was an ice skating rink. I mean,
depends on what boards you're putting up and. What
no. I mean, I wonder if,
I don't think that concrete's in any condition to have competitive skating done on it.
Then you'd have to see if the township's insurance covers a skate park like water, an ice rink.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if there's a will, there's a way, I guess. And that was just a thought in the commentary. And
Tell Todd to throw that on.
Well, I don't know that that's worthy of the township agenda yet.
Not yet.
I just was sort of seeking feedback and what you guys thought of it, because I mean it's just
Well, we'd have to look at
continuingly
that
unused
concrete
space.
pad, because if it's a lot of cracks, then it's probably not gonna.
It's going to need leveled and ground. And
Right. But if it's not too bad, I mean, it
Yeah,
works.
they do the same thing over at Ottawa Park in Toledo.
Oh, they do that?
Yep.
Really? And in the winter they turn it to ice?
It's an inline, like they have leagues, everything, and then it's the ice rink in the winter.
Cool.
Oh, I should go over there and check it out, I guess. At Ottawa Park in Toledo, they do that.
Off Kenwood?
Yeah, you've never been there?
You've never? Yeah.
No, I've driven by there a million times. I've never gone into the park and seen what they've got.
Is too. Everyone goes sledding there.
Yeah.
Not me, I guess. I mean,
Country runs there.
It's an ice rink in the winter, and it's a ton of.
see.
I mean, we used to play inline tournament leagues and everything there.
Not the best neighborhood to be in.
Right. I mean, I've driven by a lot of times, but okay, I'll go check that out. I mean, that could be something that could be,
Yeah.
fun upgrade for the
Good idea.
community, right?
All right, moving on to Samaria. I have nothing on Samaria. Chris didn't tell me anything about Samaria, so I can't answer anything about Samaria. White Park.
I got nothing other than that email with the parts. Was that both white and car? Because there were items at
It
white that were
mentioned
broken.
car only.
But I think that seesaw table they were talking about was at white, not at car.
Okay,
The
all
only
right.
thing wrong
Well,
at
they didn't
car was
say
like
white,
the tire.
but- okay.
So
Well,
I'm assuming it was, but they got the parts for
we
both
should look.
spots.
Yeah, we should look next time and make sure. I'll write that down. Okay. Seesaw.
I'll go look, and I was going to say even vis-a-vis White Park, I guess
Yeah.
so Chaz is no longer a board member. Is that sort of the deal?
Well, I don't know, because
He's on the board.
he's still.
But he's not. I mean, he just hasn't been here.
We have 3 meetings. What do you want out of it?
No, I'm more saying should I make my? I mean, should I adopt White Park as the liaison?
I mean, he still talks with 3B and gets info, and
He does. So he's doing something.
He just hasn't communicated with us. Like, I didn't know he wasn't going to be here. Most people would.
I would have been
No, if
astonished.
you're not going to be here.
I would be astonished if he was here. I
But,
mean, he's missed the
but
last
it would be
15
nice,
meetings or
it
whatever.
Would be
But
nice to know
yeah,
ahead of time,
15.
so we know if we're going to have a quorum. Because,
I mean, I don't know. I just figured Chaz was off the board, and do we need to reassign his park to a different liaison?
it would have been nice 4 months ago if he'd told us that's what he was going to do, and then we could have assigned it to another liaison, and we could have actually appointed somebody to fill out his term. Maybe one of the new people going to be on the board, would have stepped up.
So as of right now, Chaz Mann is still the White Park liaison.
Yes, he is.
And he's okay with that.
I don't know if he's okay with that, but he is. So yeah, yeah, he's just not showing up.
I'm gonna
He's not
go-
wasting his time showing up to the meeting. Let's
That's
put it
cool.
that way.
I mean, okay, fine.
can't blame him.
Good.
So that's that. Okay, Wheeler. When I talked to Pat today, he said that Chris said he was going to cut down those 5 trees at Wheeler. Chris was going to come over and do it himself. Drop the tree
yeah.
of heaven, the huge tree of heaven that the township doesn't have the saw to do, but apparently Chris does. So it hasn't happened yet. They're still there. So that was 2 weeks ago. He told Pat that, and I'll have to check further on that, I guess. It hasn't happened yet, and we need to get those trees down.
Are there any
As soon as
trees
possible.
down at Harmony on the course?
I don't know if I've been on the course all there recently, but not like a month ago.
Okay.
I'll walk the course here this week. I mean,
Limbs down, hanging limbs, anything,
curious
dangerous.
after
why?
all
Because maintenance would go do it, I guess, if we tell
Yeah.
them.
If we needed limb cleared or anything, because there was in a Toledo disc golf group I'm in, there was a post of Harmony with a tree, but it could have been old.
Oh, okay.
I'll go look.
And I haven't heard anybody complain or bring it up. Or
He would have mentioned it maybe, right? But I'll go walk the course in the next couple days and check it out.
Okay. Pocket parks, anybody had any complaints or anything?
Yes. Hold on.
Okay.
Because do I have the location? Shit. There was a call into our call thing.
Center, okay.
Yeah, our call center. About location. Okay, Rutledge Drive.
yeah,
You know Rutledge? And is there
Winding Brook.
and is the pocket park there? Is there a pocket park there?
There's
Is
no park, but there's land. It's right against the creek there.
and
Strip, okay.
and that is our responsibility?
Owned by the township, so probably pocket park.
Because okay, has anybody supposedly
Off Rutledge.
here? This is her address. I don't want to say the address
Right.
out loud per se.
Well, she's talking about The one off Hooverdale there.
Sorry.
It's the one that comes in off Hooverdale, which is off
Hooverdale,
Smith.
okay.
That creek there is, and that's where you had talked about, like,
Yeah,
that's Smith and Smith Road, the old Smith Road Elementary comment. But going off Hooverdale, this is like, I believe it's this zone is like the parkland. There's no actual, like,
Were you the one she talked to? She said she talked with someone, or that someone was in. She met someone. She talked with someone. Maybe it was maintenance. Okay. Maybe it was maintenance, I guess. And she's very upset and wants someone to get back to her from the parks, even though it's like, I don't think that's the part. I mean, I guess it's growing onto her property. There's overgrowth that is coming onto her, it's the foliage is growing into her yard.
that whole creek and everything, that's why nothing can be done with parks there, because that whole creek, they just dug it out, a year and a half ago? And that's, Drain Commission has the right of way for like 20 feet on each side, and they just recently cleared all that and redug that creek about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Growing onto her property.
Well, a year and a half, 2 years is a while. I mean, it's something.
Yeah, but
Grass.
But that's not. We don't think that's our anything.
we don't have any.
It's not a pocket park. She's
That
she's
probably-
barking up the wrong.
It's probably our property.
Probably is township property, and they probably should mow it.
It's town.
And there you go, Todd.
Take
Another.
that to 'em.
It's township property, and it's classified as one of our pocket parks.
You know, all that stuff, yes, that becomes like a pocket park. All the little islands of things that the township owns, they consider it parks, and then we're responsible. Although we never see those things, unless somebody complains about it, and there's no play equipment on it. It's not like it's a park with play equipment that we do things on.
So it's not even necessarily those identified parks in the master plan from a couple years ago.
No,
It may be
maybe
other parcels
others.
that are.
yes, the other parcels.
Well, I don't here. I'll show you her address. There's a lady on her.
Give me the address.
She says there's something, and she's pissed, and she's, yeah. I'll show you. Let's see. But okay, that was all. I mean, theoretically, that's pocket park. I'll call her back and.
Okay, you
Talk
find
to
out
her.
exactly, where it is and
Well,
and what she's talking about.
If it's on her
Yeah, that's her
property,
house.
then
That's
it's
her
got to be
house.
back
Is
to
it-
the creek there.
Is it trees coming over her property? She
yeah,
wants
like
that
there's
kind of
foliage
thing, or
climbing
is
her
it
fence
just-
and going
is
into
it
her
just
backyard,
grass
and she
or-
wants it trimmed back. I
whatever,
guess pretty
yeah.
much. Yes.
Okay. All right.
There you go. Yeah, I'll call her. We'll talk.
That sounds like a maintenance problem. It's going to end up on maintenance.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have a budget to approve anything done, so yeah.
All right, comments
to
from the
'em.
public? Seeing none. Commissioners' comments? Anything? I've got nothing. I've mentioned everything I had to say, I think. Aaron, anything you
I
want to say? No?
Talked a lot this meeting, right?
All right,
It's already
Todd.
past 8.
I got nothing.
Okay, all
I
right.
got, so this property on Rutledge.
Mm-hmm.
So have maintenance take a look at that. I have to approve the email, tell Trudy that the
You
email.
turn your microphone on, please.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna talk to Bob to see about where he's getting the $14.25 for this, because we wanted to approve. So that's what I have.
All right. And next park meeting will be Monday, September 23rd, right here. I've got 23rd. Is it? Oh.
It's 2023, so yeah, it's Monday the 20th.
How did it have 23 on it? Jeez, I didn't put it on there. They added it.
Yeah, that's weird.
I didn't have the year. Okay. We're good.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye, aye, aye.